Y'all know what's going down. Yeah, let's get to this post. This is about PC fanboys sharing their salty comments about PlayStation exclusives leaving PC. You're gonna be all right. And remember, what games do you have on PC that are exclusive that have showed up after a while? I don't see no exclusives on PC ever. That's the funny thing. It's like, what are you adding to the well from a first party perspective? Used to be when League of Legends was hot, when Warcraft was hot. You know what I mean? Blizzard games is like, yeah, you have some games. Valve used to make games, but now you don't make anything. You just get a whole bunch of other people's games and talk a bunch of mess. It's like, remember, I game on everything. I have everything. So let's get that out the way first. So IGN has a post here, and it's actually very interesting, guys. It says Sony has reportedly reaffirmed its pullback from PC, and PC gamers have been reacting to the news with a mix of disappointment and a lack of surprise. This is actually pretty funny. I know some people that requested for the dark background. I'm going to get to that. Sorry about that. I'm pretty sure that makes it easier on your guys' eyes. Personally, I don't have a problem with it, but I can understand if you're on a monitor or whatever. But yeah, the reason why my videos didn't come out like they usually do is because we had a power outage earlier and I had to go to the dentist today to get a deep cleaning. So yeah, that happened. Sorry about that. But getting back to the drama over here, PC gamers react to Sony making its narrative single-player games PlayStation exclusive. It's funny that IGN is actually covering some salt content. How funny is this, y'all? Let's get ready. Let's get ready to get into this. This is gonna get interesting. Then we got another post to cover as well, which is absolutely hilarious. SNTCTN is the first comment. He says, I skipped buying a PlayStation 5 and I don't feel like I've missed out. You definitely wanted to comment though. I can't say that that's really super salty, but skipping the PS5, I don't know, man. They had a lot of timed exclusives and they had some definitely good first party games this generation, and they got a good amount of more coming. Is this the best PlayStation generation? No, I'm not saying that at all, obviously. But I wouldn't say I would have not wanted to have a PS5 because I'm really enjoying my PS5 Pro right now as well. God of War Ragnarok was excellent. Gran Turismo 7 was excellent. Ghost of Yotei is excellent. I really enjoyed getting Final Fantasy 16 before it came to PC much later on. I'm just saying that window was there. I didn't want to wait, and I really enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Sony has had a good amount of games. As a matter of fact, we can go pull up some games over here on the side over here, just to kind of cover for you guys. We got some comments to get into, but this type of stuff to me is absolutely hilarious to me. Spider-Man 2, I really enjoyed Spider-Man 2. I'm just going to say it. It was absolutely phenomenal. And I already said God of War Ragnarok. Death Stranding was really fun. No doubt about that. I've enjoyed the gacha. Stellar Blade was absolutely phenomenal. I loved Stellar Blade. It came to PC. You guys loved it too. Don't act like you didn't love Stellar Blade. Because of Sony, that game got funded and it happened. Don't tell me it didn't. Helldivers 2 was excellent. I didn't have a PC with the build that I wanted at that time because it was kind of outdated. So yeah, that actually was really good. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth was excellent. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink was absolutely excellent. You see what I mean? Like I said, Final Fantasy 16, I enjoyed that as well. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Demon Souls. You don't get Demon Souls, so you know what I mean. It's like no, these games I'm actually enjoying big time. I'm gonna enjoy Wolverine big time. Soros is a good game. I don't care what you say. Returnal is a good game. I don't care what you say. It doesn't matter how much it's sold. Either the game is good to you or it's not. Did Sony mess up on some exclusives this generation? Absolutely, but they've definitely turned the game around big time. And on PC, you do not have something like Extra. We could play all these PlayStation games. We had like Last of Us 2, Last of Us 1 getting next-gen remakes. I know you don't like Last of Us, but I love Last of Us, so it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, a lot of other people do as well. The PS5 Pro is definitely kicking some ass right now with PSSR 2. I'm absolutely loving it. But if people don't want to buy a PS5, I'm not going to say that you're absolutely wrong for that. But that's not the funny comment. Going to this guy, please tell Herman Host that my wallet is exclusive to PC games, preferably Steam, and I don't want to buy a PlayStation console to play Sony games anymore. Well, dude, I mean, what are you going to do? Wait there and imagine it's going to come to PC? You guys had the opportunity. Here's my thing with the PC banks. You had the opportunity to consistently get Sony games. You want to know what your problem is? You didn't support them enough and you wanted to pirate and play that game. So don't complain to me that you don't want to get a PlayStation. If you didn't, you guys should have supported the games more. So you did it. So that's your fault. That works before when there was quality, genre variety, and overall quantity. Now it's not worth it anymore. The funny thing is they're funding so many games right now. Phantom Blade is going to be absolutely phenomenal. They're funding so many games right now that are going to be coming to PlayStation with the Decima engine, plus all these other games that are coming around the corner, that I don't see why you would want to miss out on them as a gamer. I'm not missing Wolverine. You know what I mean? It's like, no, bro, it's not going to happen. I'm not missing Intergalactic. I'm not missing Last of Us 3, on the next Uncharted, the Uncharted remakes, all those PlayStation classics they're reviving. No, bro, you can't tell me you want to miss those games. Sony's going to have some second-party and third-party games, too. Spider-Man 3, I'm not missing that. Venom, I'm not missing that. You know what I mean? They have some quality games that are definitely coming around the corner where I can say, these are a lot of games. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to miss them. The next Ghost, the next Infamous, the next God of War, the other God of War that Cory Barlog is doing, where Freya's like, dude, those are a lot of games. And they're going to have a lot more than that. They're going to be single player only. And you're going to be sitting there wishing you could play them. The next Gran Turismo, that's going to be coming out. You know what I mean? The Forza is lighting it up right now. You know, props to that. So I think Sony is definitely going to pick up on it. They don't have a choice. And they, you know, they've made some mistakes before, but I don't see them having lesser games now. I think actually as more time passes, they're going to have a lot more games. And it's not going to be just about the primo 2 PlayStation exclusives launching per year, but the other games they funded and the money hatch they're going to have and the classics that they're getting out with remasters. It's like, no, bro, it's coming. Oh yeah, the God of War trilogy remake next gen. So I'm saying there's a lot of games coming. So ARP is the next guy in line. He says, yeah, back when Spider-Man came out, I was really excited for it and was considering buying a PlayStation just to play it, but I held back. When it finally came out on PC, it was good, but not as great as I built up in my head. Okay, any game that comes out as a PlayStation exclusive, I'll just remind myself of Spider-Man. You know the funny thing about that? Spider-Man is actually amazing. Those are the best Spider-Man games of all time. There ain't no better Spider-Man games than that. What I want to ask you is what PC exclusives do you have coming out? It's just a question, because that same team gave some amazing Ratchet and Clank games. Venom is going to be amazing. Wolverine is going to be amazing. And so is Spider-Man 3. I'm just saying, bro. Like, there's a lot of good games that are coming out from the PlayStation Studio side that are going to be pretty good, and you're not going to want to miss them, trust me. But if you don't want them, I mean, I'm not going to say you're wrong for that. This guy, PlayStation 5 has been out for ages and still has no games, and he wants to double down. LOM. I don't understand what you mean by it's been out for ages and still has no games. How is that possible when it has more first-party games than Xbox that are exclusive? Hear me out here. You know that Bloodborne remake is coming too. And you have all of the Xbox games, all of the third-party funding and money hats, all the classics coming back. You got the Game Pass-like catalog, and you have PSSR 2 with PS5 Pro. You have more games than anybody besides Steam with Shovel World, which nobody cares about. But all the important games are on PlayStation. All the gacha games are there, all the Xbox games, and exclusives you're not going to be getting. So what do you mean you have no games? You mean Xbox doesn't have any exclusives and doesn't have PlayStation games? And has no money hats? And no gachas because nobody's making deals with them? They don't know what they're doing? And Nintendo has all the exclusives. You know what I mean? They have tons of exclusives 24/7. So what I don't understand is when a PC gamer is talking about no games, when really you have no games of your own. It's a whole bunch of games that were on PlayStation, a whole bunch of games that were on Xbox back in the days, and you wish you could have all those Nintendo games. You're the ones that don't have exclusives anymore. When's the last time Valve made a game? I'm just curious. I just want to ask you guys a serious question. Where it's like yearly Sony's dropping games, yearly Nintendo's dropping games, yearly Xbox is dropping games, but they're not having them as exclusive. I find it funny that PC never drops exclusives, but you want to bum off of everybody else's first-party games. And we're talking people with a PC-only mentality, because I've been having high-end gaming PCs, but I'm not going to classify myself as a PC gamer. I would be more of a console gamer than a PC gamer, because the reason why I have these consoles is because I really like the feeling of playing on a console, and I like the feeling of exclusivity. I like having exclusives because it makes the game interesting. I've already explained in a video before that the top brands in the world and the highest stock markets and the highest values, if you look on the market, are all exclusive identity aspects. Google, YouTube, Google Gemini, Apple, exclusive to Apple. Number one, NVIDIA, exclusive. RTX, DLSS, that's exclusive. You see what I mean? Marvel, that's exclusive. Nintendo, that's exclusive. Even when you think about Microsoft and Windows And when Xbox had it, that's exclusive Windows. You see what I mean? When you think about that identity. What do you want me to say? Because it's the truth. Like, you know what I mean? Look on the market and look at the top things. Even when we think about AMD, who's not top on the stock market, but even then, Samsung, right? Galaxy, that's exclusive to that world. You're not going to find anybody that is ruling the world at the top, even when Disney was rolling with Mickey Mouse. I've said this before, that does not have an identity here. If you don't have an identity, what the hell do you have? This guy says, why would a PC gamer buy a $600 PS5 for a few games? Dude, you spend $3,000 on an overpriced NVIDIA rig for games that don't even need it, and you sit there and then you complain about online. But really, I can sit here on my PlayStation like I have the past few months playing Cyberpunk, Ghost of Yotei, Silent Hill, Alan Wake 2, Resident Evil. All these games are single player. I don't need PlayStation Plus to play them. If I want to play the new gachas or Fortnite, I don't need PlayStation Plus. Meanwhile, though, if I want to get a rig to play Resident Evil Requiem to embarrass the pro, I have to get path tracing rig. I have to pay $3,000 for that because of how ridiculous the market is. I have to pay 300% more for RAM. I have to pay 200% more for a GPU, while NVIDIA limits the stock and feeds the AI, but you supported them the whole time because 90% of PC is NVIDIA. The most anti-consumer company in the world right now is supported by the PC community. How are you telling me that you're smarter than console gamers? I think you're more dumb because you try to make it seem like you're better, but when you have higher specs as well, you also mod and cheat, use DOS programs because you can't handle getting your ass whooped in a competitive game. You go and cheat, you have a mouse and a keyboard, lower latency on a monitor, and you still choose to cheat. So why do you try to act like you're more smart when you're really not? You supported the most anti-consumer company in the world. Why would a PC gamer buy a $600, why would you buy a $3,500, $4,000 rig that does not need to be used when you sit around playing older games? Look on Steam, you're playing nothing but older games. You need that to play Counter-Strike? That seems to be the top game, right? It's like, so what do you want to talk about? Or you're going to be playing a game that was developed around the game. If you look at the game developer conference kits, game developer kits, they're all around console engines. Capcom has scalability, you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, like, specifically thinking, most of this started in the console world. And you're having these overpriced rigs, and some of these performances suck. Definitely this whole generation with Unreal Engine 5 and all these ports. It's like, what are you doing that for? And you're just sitting around with it when you could have had yourself a PS5 Pro, a Switch 2, and a nice PC for $1,500, $1,600 to play whatever you wanted easily, still no problem. That's why I try to think about the mentality of people in that world. Only they want to act like they're on a high, mighty horse. And I'm like, I don't understand. But you're going to spend $3,000 and something on this, and then you keep upgrading too. But you complain about consoles being $600, but you're willing to spend that much more, but you're never going to get those games. You're missing out on the experience. It doesn't make sense to me. Why not have a $1,600 computer, have the PlayStation, have the Switch 2, and never miss out on any games? To me, that's what a real gamer would do, because you're really about not missing out on any video games. Rather than, oh, I just want to spend this much money, and you better entitle me to have all this because I decided to spend this much money on this rig. But you're not getting those games. I don't care what you do. You're not getting those games now. For a few games, do you know what happens instead? What few games do you have? You have no exclusives. Don't tell me a few games in the Nintendo world. Don't tell me a few games down in the PlayStation world. All those games are going to be single player. Do you know how many single player games are coming and how many being funded by Sony? Dude, there's going to be so many. Imagine the rest of the PS5 generation. You're not getting GTA 6 day one either. And imagine all the generation of PS6. How many single player games do you think are going to be there in remakes and remasters and next gen games? Dude, there's going to be a ton. And a ton of them are also going to be cross gen on the PS5, which you could have on the PS5 Pro and still be able to play those games. You're not making any sense to me. Dude, you're going to be missing out on tons of games now. You already couldn't get Astrobot. You already couldn't get Gran Turismo. You already couldn't get Demon Souls Remake, Bloodborne. You're not getting Ghost of Yotei. You're not getting Sorrows. You're not getting Wolverine. I just gave you 8 games right now. You're not getting Intergalactic. You're not getting Last of Us Part 3. You're not getting Spider-Man 3. You're not getting Venom. You're not getting the Uncharted remakes. You're not getting the Infamous trilogy. You're not getting the next gen Infamous. You're not getting the next Ghost of Yotei. Dude, I just gave you like 15 games right there. I'm just saying, there's going to be a lot more than that because Sony's reviving a ton of classics with the Decima engine. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to be getting the next God of War. You're not going to be getting the God of War trilogy remake. You're not going to be getting the God of War that Cory Barlog is making with Freya being the main line. We're heading towards 18, 19 games now. You're not getting Gran Turismo 8. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm thinking. I'm saying, this is literally one thing I say. I'm not missing it. Single player. I'm just saying, look, you're not getting those games now. Just saying, man, it's something to really think about, because when you really think about that, you're like, wait, oh yeah, Kojima has a game coming called Physics or whatever the hell it's called, coming to PlayStation as an exclusive. I don't know if he's going to be publishing that. If so, then PC will get it. But if not, then it's staying on PlayStation. But the idea here is that Sony is going to keep getting a lot of games, single player, to make PS6, you know what I mean, attractive, and it's not going to come to your world. So either you skip all those games and you stay on the overpriced rig and miss out all of them, or you get that PlayStation and you get those games, or you stay on PC. Imagine it's going to happen. So the PC gamer simply ignores Sony games and plays other PC games. I don't know about that. Sony forgets if people are willing to wait years for a port and then longer for a discount, that sure as shit isn't the crowd that runs out to buy a console and games that keep coming in up in price. Well, that's you, but that's not all the gamers in the world. That's just your mentality. You think that reflects the entire gaming community because you want to be a cheap pirate? Hey, go ahead. I'm not going to beat that down. But what I'm saying is that you give yourself a self-entitlement that is imaginary, that does not apply to most people. And you think somehow because you have a custom rig that you're owed other people's exclusives that they funded and made. They don't owe you anything. You should be grateful that they actually shared their games with you. Nintendo's not sharing nothing. You see what I mean? It's like, I got to get that Switch too, because I've been gaming since 1993. NES days. I'm not missing out on those games because I know what I love. I love great video games, and they're going to be on multiple platforms. It's like I love some games that Microsoft has underneath their belt. You know what I mean? I love Gears. I love Fable. I love Forza. See what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to State of Decay 3. But if I don't have an Xbox, guess what? I still can get those games. I'm about the games, not about overpowered specs that cannot play games. That where else am I going to get them? You see what I mean? That's the problem that I have with that mentality, because it's like, bro, what are you going to do then? You see what I'm saying? That's why I say we take a look at this. This guy says this isn't going to magically make me buy a PlayStation, right? I'm just going to make me not buy your games. I kind of think this kind of stuff is funny to me, because it's like, you're mad because it's not to the thing you invested into. When I tell you, man, when they overinvest like $3,000, not a lot of people do this, but it's like, dude, you could have took part of that investment and still had a good PC and had that and have accessibility to all those games. I can understand you could play the Xbox games better, but when the PS6 comes out, it's going to be better than 97% of PCs on the market. It is. Like, tell me what PC rigs right now are going to be like 5080 performance with ray tracing and path tracing. Go look at the Steam database and tell me how many people have those type of PCs. Dude, it's under 5%. So the PlayStation 6 is going to make PC users, even if they were going to show the games, how would you be able to play them? You don't have the rig for that, right? Oh yeah, you would need something like a PS5 because it would be cross-gen. You know, I could see somebody counter-arguing. I gave you a counter-argument to that. But what if they're PS6 exclusives? And it's based around the PlayStation 6 specifications, which require an RTX 5080. Most PC gamers do not have this. You see what I mean? Only like 5% and under. NVIDIA has shown the stats with Steam. So is AMD. AMD is like a very small percentage. So like when I take a look at that, I'm like, the majority of you are not going to be able to compete with the PS6. It's going to be running games way better than you. And you're going to have to pay probably 2.5 times the price for that. If the market is better in the PC world by then. The PC market is the worst. It's why everything else is worse. And it goes back to NVIDIA and Microsoft. Don't tell me anything else. We talk about all those other parts. You see what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day, I don't understand why you're getting mad at PlayStation exclusives when you had the opportunity to support them to make it stay on your platform, but you didn't, and now you lost them. It's not Sony's fault. Sony shared the games with you. They saw you didn't benefit them, and they realized PS6 needs to have a strong identity. They made the right move because it is about identity. Nintendo understands this too. I will never share my games. For what? I'm winning. What I need to do if I'm winning? If I'm winning, you don't try to fix it if it ain't broke, right? But when I look into your world, it's just a bunch of other people's games. What are you doing for the gaming industry from a first party standpoint? Valve needs to come out with Half-Life 3 and set a foothold down and said, only here. And if it happens, guess what? Half-Life 3 is only going to be in the Steam world. Don't be a hypocrite either. And tell me that they should put it on other platforms, because they're not going to. Because they need to push the Steam machine and push Steam. Just like Counter-Strike never came. It did it. Dota 2. See what I mean? Don't be a hypocrite. They never shared their games. Only some here and there. And Sony shared their games fully for years. So I don't get the point of a PC gamer getting mad and acting like you got some entitlement when you had the opportunity to pay for the games. You decided to pirate. You decided to go on your DEI ranch like crazy and do all this other stuff. Everybody knows this. Here's the one right here, right now, acting like all those games are like that. Not necessarily the case. Plenty of those games are on PC. It's like, I can tell you some games I'm playing, I'm like, no, this game is fine. Then some people say something about GTA. No, GTA is actually going to have that in there because it represents the manifestation in the world. Because that's what GTA is. It's supposed to mirror that. So expect that to be in there for sure, because it's going to be a meme and it's going to be humorous. I expect that to be in there. But you think that's going to stop GTA from selling? Hell no. Because that's not going to be the face of the game. It's going to be a part of it because it makes sense. Because that's what GTA is. It's not really a video game to me in a certain sense. It's more like stuff that's people can't do in real life, so they enjoy it on there. And it's a bit childish in a lot of ways and teenager oriented. And you see what I mean? Like, when you really think about the concept of it, think about GTA in a sort of sense. It's a lot of childish aspects to that. And they're actually kind of playing on you because you can't do this in real life, but you want to do it here. But is it really like a gimmick in a real video game? Like Mario or something? It's like, no. But it works. That's where the gaming world is at. Definitely with microtransactions. All this gambling and Vegas type stuff up in video games now. With these degenerate communities. It's like, okay, I like the single player worlds without microtransactions. I love it. And like I said, the way that console gaming is and the way that it grew, the reason why we are where we're at now is because of the exclusive worlds back then. If you think you're going to tear that all down to make everything be a generic third-party box, you're a moron to me, because you're not really understanding that you need that identity to make the game interesting. And with the competition being better, people develop and create more rather than all-you-can-eat buffets and just third-party vampiring. Dude, that's terrible. And it's the same zombie cycle over and over again, and nothing is innovative. You don't want that, trust me. That's why you even see people in the Xbox world begging for the exclusive identity, because they understand how important that is. And AGN has been trying to help people out with this. So yeah, here's my thing about this, man. This type of stuff is funny to me. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this. Leave a comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe, become a member if you want. I appreciate that. Leave a tip or whatever. But yeah, this stuff is funny to me. Keep on gaming no matter what platform you're on. But remember, I know the platform you're on, you wanted to have an exclusive identity. Don't sit here and lie to me. Unless you're somebody that's really rooting for that, like an Alex. You know what I mean? He stands on that. I can understand that. Later.